the playing field, the stakes, like how you set it up. Because on paper, it's just looking real rough here for Quandong Freaks. First ban going to be the Viego. This has been very popular against the Quandong Freaks because Cuz too good at it.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, if I'm Hanwha Esports, I'm pretty confident in my bot side of the map. Mid-bot lane, you're pretty happy. But I think Judo and Cuz are such a formidable top jungle that is the sort of area of the map I think you give the most contest to this side of Hanwha Esports. You know, on their best day, I think Judo Cuz can match up well on Venadora. And so target the Viego early on. We see some bot lane bans. Senna, you know, we don't see farming Senna, so it's no surprise it's going to be banned out. We see the Ashe and the Varus banned. Kalista left open, which is a big pick for Bull, but we could just see Hanwha Esports take it themselves.
And do Hanwha Esports think that the Jinx buffs, or at least the item buffs buffing Jinx, is going to help them against a Kalista? They could theoretically just lock that one away if it is as powerful as we may think. But instead, there's a tree. Peanut is 9-0 on this champion. As there's the Rek'Sai. All right, Rek'Sai Sejuani. The Rek'Sai top lane that we have seen, lose once in the LPL. It's 1-2 in the LEC at the moment.
Very popular in solo queue. This is top lane Rek'Sai. It's going to be jungle Sejuani because really strong skirmishing combo early. So clearly looking to target that top jungle. And basically the build we've been seeing is a more tank build, regenerating a lot of health from your passive and just being immovable in lane. Hanwha Esports, not even going to give a look towards Jinx, but you know, another creative carry who's benefited from these changes is the Zeri. See what ends up coming out to pair up with that.
Oh man, Zeka I feel can kind of play anything.
Yeah, a lot of options. I don't even think they need to necessarily take mid here. Perhaps like if they want to secure a top lane who can match this. And I think Jax, considering how auto-attack based the Rek'Sai is, and being able to stack up the Sejuani passive could make a lot of sense here to pick that one up.
Yeah, and was recently changed as well to make the Q auto-attack based, so there is a little bit more value there. Instead, it's just going to be the Aatrox here for Doran. A whole lot of comfort. And now Bulldog thinking about a pigeon.
Aatrox is a good pick in general, but it feels a little bit risky into this duo. Like, I could definitely see Judo and Cuz wanting to target that, because your top jungle combo honestly slaps the Maokai Aatrox early. Reduce the Azir. Wow, we've had, literally, it's been re-enabled for like 3 minutes.
Hey, Zeka didn't pick it.
Locked in,
right?
Yeah, true.
It went past one opportunity of being picked.
Wasn't a first pick, crazy. And then immediately targeting the picks that do well into it, which Zeka can play. And here's the thing is that, you obviously think of the Yone, but his recent Taliyah performance was really solid. Potentially even that is worth a ban in this situation. Whereas Hanwha Esports looking towards the bot lane.
I imagine just more AD carries to be taken away. There is the Jinx that we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, definitely something that you want to get rid of. The range, very powerful, and especially into the Zeri. You know, if Zeri gets on top of it, it can cause issues, but otherwise you're just going to outrange quite hard.
Is it a Caitlyn ban to come through next? As there is the Tristana, of course, one of Zeka's favorites, a good pairing with the Maokai. It makes a fair bit of sense there. But now, one more ban, one more AD carry probably going to leave the field, and it's going to be Lucian.
No, I was thinking like Lucian makes sense, but not so much for Bull. Not really a big pick for him. So they kind of ban it more because it's the matchup you see quite often rather than specifically for Bull, but I still think it makes a decent amount of sense. Now the question's going to be, what does he end up picking here to match up into the Zeri? Likely going to be AD carry here and then saving support for counter pick. It is assumed to be that Maokai jungle. I'm like 90% certain, but it could still technically be a flex.
Theoretically, could be an opportunity here as Kai'Sa going to be locked in. We've got Pre-Seekers and Void Seekers. I'm going to be pretty annoyed.
Yeah, they get a Void buff as a result of that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so pretty strong into these Zeri as well. Definitely, if your team get on top of it, you get the stun proc from like your Sejuani, you can follow up with a lot of power. But seems like we're getting the Alistar from Delight, really formidable in this pick, especially last season. And also, one of the best pairings for Kai'Sa is the Nautilus, and Alistar, pretty solid combo into that.
Oh, Zeka just hovering, one of Bulldog's favorites.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think I'm gonna see Zeka play Aurelion Sol.
Or is he gonna just play the Kassadin that we saw him just hovering? As this would make me very sad. But back to Corki Azir. And there we go. This is the pick that, for Zeka especially, sparks the least joy.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that Quandong Freaks will be pretty happy. We do see the Rakan locked in generally.
The Uribank LCK 2024 Spring Playoffs. As Round 1, Humble Life Esports taking on Kwandong Freaks. 3rd place versus 6th. And the Kwandong Freaks fans almost blew out my eardrums. They are losing their minds here at Lord Park today.
Yeah, they're just hyped to be here. You know, it's crazy that we went through this trajectory of like 97% the outcomes where they'd make it to, oh my god, they're actually going to not make it again, to them actually making it in the end. It's been a roller coaster. Obviously, those are pretty popular, but normally for another team in the LCK, but Kwandong Freaks making it here and coming out with pretty solid draft. Look at the summons a little bit. We do see the summoner spellbook from Cuz, so not the Aftershock, not going to be as tanky, but a lot of utility offered there. Something else to note is, you know, I was thinking the range aspect kind of off Honor Life Esports. Perhaps you could combat that by going the more AP-heavy Kai'Sa build, but I think with the damage profile of the comp, you kind of have to go more AD focused, which is a little bit unfortunate, but still could be fine. Especially
with Dudu probably going for that more tanky build that doesn't necessarily do that much damage. Getting the burrow off, and Doran just chilling. Probably not feeling too worried. But Dudu not being able to find another one of those, just spending a lot of time on the ground as he possibly can. And just benefiting from the extra amount of regen that you get. So if you want to sort of take people through who may have not seen the LPL or the LEC rec size, what sort of changed? Because it wasn't on the most recent patch, it was on a few patches ago, right?
Yeah, it was like a series of changes that came in that resulted in this position. And it's been quite popular in solo queue. Really goes just to get some trades down there. But yeah, so basically, they try to make him like more bruiser focused. Obviously, the leading jungle build for Rek'Sai before the changes was like the lethality assassin pick.
Whoa, that's a long time. Samsung Galaxy QV as well. Whoa, 2015.
Big throwback. But yeah, basically, the power of the pick is your Fury, your heal from it scales with your max HP, so you kind of build him tanky, and you just go for very frequent trades. You can see Dudu trading around his graph, just going in, little trade, going in, little trade. And the thing is, he's winning these trades, but even if you lose them, you sustain so much that you just win the attrition game. You're also incredibly hard to gank because of your tunnels. You're incredibly easy to set up ganks. And in the late stage of the game, you now have a return to the old knockup from Rek'Sai. So OG Rek'Sai, you AoE knocked up, and then that was one of the changes I kind of took out of the meta for pro play, is you would only knock up the target you were hitting or closest to. Now it's back to AoE, so a lot more presence in team fights, and essentially you're pretty potent just being that bulky champ who can really sort of not only be an annoyance to the top lane, but be a threat in the team fights. And you do see him taking some rough trades here, but he should just be able to sustain this back up.
Yep, Dudu just grabs full Rage or Fury. And is just going to nom that up and feel just fine. We saw Cuz make his way over. Was on vision, of course, so Doran knew exactly what was going on. Not going to see too much more. It's a nice little knock-up, though, as the Infernal Chains do connect. Not able to get the knock-up or the sweet spot there on the 3rd Q. So Dudu not going to be chained back, as now Cuz taking a little bit of sapling damage. Quantum moving on up, as it's a battle for the Scuttler that Kwandong Freaks are just going to avoid.
Yeah, bot lane been going pretty good for Honor Life Esports. They're able to make the move here, despite the position the waves in, but also Viper managed to get a recall and pick up a cull, so
damn.
He's pretty happy. Zeka's already got the tier. They are in stack central. I mean, kind of see what happened in the top lane. Even though Doran was winning those trades pretty hard, he's now down in health, and that is just how the pick works. You just lose the long attrition game.
And now Dudu going to get pulled back by the Infernal Chains this time around, but as you can see, just kind of like hang out. As alright, if that full combo does connect, then things can get a little bit dangerous. And then it's not. Sort of a bit like a yo-yo, isn't it? The health bar of Rek'Sai. She's just seems to be having a good time. Tunnels out of that one.
Yeah, as long as you're not dying to like a burst all in, you're pretty fine. And obviously, Proc and grasp a fair bit here. Wow.
I feel like this was often picked into... Oh, that was a really nice dash there from Viper. Often the Rakan is picked into Taliyah as well in a lot of these scenarios.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a better angle, but it's still a rough time for the champion.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of champions in the meta who give him a hard time, because Taliyah is definitely like the first and foremost, but also like Maokai. It's not fun playing Rakan and a Maokai.
True.
If you get caught by the ultimate or just by like the point and click route, you can really end up in such a bad spot. Like, I mean, that's Rakan's weakness, is point and click CC. Everything else you can kind of manage, but that is really what he finds the hardest to deal with, and obviously Maokai has plenty of that, so got to be a bit careful in these team fights. And now you see Dudu actually trying to freeze the wave here. This is a good angle to set up for a gank, and It is level 6 for Doran, it's level 6 for Dudu.
Yeah, information given over here as Doran is kind of given up on here just a little bit by Peanut, who did move away from it. Decides instead he's just going to get out of there, and that is first blood going over to the Rek'Sai top lane. Dudu starting off this game right.
Yep, and I think Peanut made the right call, not even going over, because you just don't win that 2v2. You're just going to die as well. It was really good setup from Dudu. You saw that Doran wanted to push the wave in and reset. He catches the wave. Doran overstays to push it in, and the gang setup is so easy. Like, you saw him, he tunneled behind him, and then had to, like, walk back to knock up. That's how, like, easy it is just to set up that play. There was no way Doran was getting out. And all I can say is at least he didn't burn his flash or something silly like that.
Yep, it's almost as if Rek'Sai was a jungler. Has great setup for ganks. As Quantum going to find a bit of a grand entrance here as Cuz down towards the bottom lane now, making his presence known all over the place. Delight having to flash. And this is the Cuz that we were expecting, right? This is the guy that has just taken control of the Rift in so many of Quantum Freaks' games.
Yeah, and it's a really good start for Quantum Freaks. This is the sort of trajectory they want to have in the game. Looking to pick up an early dragon as well. With it being an ocean, all you can hope is that the second dragon is a Chemtech and you end up slamming a...
Have you decided that it's going to be a Chemtech?
That's what I'm going for. But, you know, sometimes I'm not really in control.
You do often call the Chemtech, though. So if you call it, then... I mean, it's got to get in there, as it'll be a cloud. So unfortunately, I was a bit too focused on the dragons, and therefore the clouds come up. And yeah, he is going to find it there, as there's no flash on this cow, and I don't think it would have mattered anyway. That is going to be the second kill for the Quantum Freaks this time, going over to Bull.
Really good setup, really good angle. Perfect max range ult coming out from Cuz, and they managed to get the kill, paying off from the lack of flash from Delight earlier. And yeah, good early kill on the Kai'Sa. Things all going positively right now for Quantum Freaks.
And it's starting to look like perhaps we overstated the likelihood that Humble Life Esports were going to win. Although it is early days.
It is early, but definitely seeing the sort of play that we'd hope to see from Quantum Freaks. Clearly have done a little bit of thinking, done a little bit of scrimming in their time off, and looking to have a good start so far. I think just keeping stacking the dragon is going to be really important here. And we see, I mean, this is a gangster bait. Just to me, it's how Dudu like ends up tunneling so far behind him, he has to like walk back in to knock him up. Like, that's how dead he was. Like, there was no way of escaping. It's like he could have like tunneled, flash, knock up, and he still would have done. But like he didn't even need to do anything. It was such an easy pickup. And here, just a great angle from Cuz to get that ult in. Obviously, pre-6, Alistair very vulnerable.
So we can see Quantum Freaks fans pretty psyched about how things are going so far, but they're going to have to stay vigilant. As Cuz with his Unsealed Spellbook has healed. It's a whole lot of fun. As now Bull taking a lot of damage here. Viper has ulted already. The grand entrance, not fantastic here from Quantum, but it doesn't matter. They are still going to be able to stay alive here. Try and farm out these minions under the turret. Still, plate secured by Viper already in this earlier stage of the game. And despite the 2 kills, it's only about a 500 gold difference, although it did just stretch up to 800 as I was saying that. So maybe I need to talk about the gold more if you're a Quantum Freaks fan.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit of an umbral dash to get out of the way of the tunnel.
Look at the angle. I mean, this is just like, if you look at Dudu's items, like the Ninja Tabi Bramble Vest is just so...
That's a no button.
It's so obnoxious to deal with for this Aatrox. Not a fun situation to be in. You can see Doran playing it very safe here. The wave is going to push into him, so he's pretty okay there. Won't get ganked. Did see Cuz on the ward. But yeah, anytime the wave is in a bad spot, you're just so vulnerable to ganks. So to be honest, the fact that Doran has only died once, he's honestly okay with how the lane has been going. It's just been a very unfun experience.
It has, and he's only a few behind, like you were talking about, so not the end of the world, as he is going to lose out on that trade very heftily.
Yeah, I mean, these trades are going bad before the healing comes in.
Yeah.
So definitely starting to see some momentum be built up in the top lane. Cuz once again shown a bot. Next dragon in 2 minutes, that will be one that Zeka has packaged for, so... Oh.
Yeah, Dudu going to be able to grab himself a plate.
Yeah, I think if Quantum Freaks can get the next dragon, that's when they're really in a good spot, you know? That's when they don't have nearly as much threat from, like, Porky package stacking things up.
Well, Dudu is, yeah, like we were saying, losing out on trades, but who cares? Because he's Rek'Sai. Peanut did manage to grab the first 3 bubs, is here on spawn to collect them again. Cuz moving over, Cuz... They do have full information as to what's going on here, and it looks like Peanut will be able to take one of them down at least. and then vacate if you would like to.
If you get one, you're happy. There's no way you want to stick around and contest. As you can see, Zeka actually recalling right now. Interesting time to recall. You would have thought he would leave it a little bit later just so he can get the package. So yeah, he recalls and TPs back in. Not sure what that says about them wanting to fight the dragon, because presumably he's going to have to back again to pick it up before. So just a little bit of an interesting one. We see Cuz only taking the one grub. Obviously, the first one each jungler takes gives the bonus XP, so that's why the focus is so much just getting that one. Not really bothered about getting a second one there. Dragon spawning 55. That's going to be the big one we're looking towards.
Yep, and there are 8 stacks left on this cull for Viper. We'll see how close he is to completing that first item. We mentioned first item completions, and Bull, he has his, which could be really important. I mean, you're going to battle with a Kai'Sa, and you've just got the Kachizi's Shard, and that has been nerfed on this patch. You're probably not too psyched about how fights are potentially going to go, as Peanut does take another Rift Scuttler. 27 seconds, like we were talking about. 3 more stacks for this one, so we'll see whether Viper does manage to get all of these minions. Does need them if he does want to cash in that cull and get him a bit closer to a few more items.
Yeah, the timing's a bit rough though, because he's going to have to recall and spend before they can contest this dragon. Zek is still on the map as well, and obviously they'd want his package. I wonder if they're just planning to give this up.
Yeah, I have a feeling that that might be the case. You can see Quantum Freaks, they are going to shove this one out.
Yeah, I mean, they're just in no position to fight this right now. So I think the decision's been made. Just give it up. Hope the soul's not too impactful, but even if it is, they'll be ready and packaged up for the subsequent ones.
Yep, and you know, third dragon's the dream. For a composition like this is kind of how I'm feeling. You want to get your Corki and your Zeri with a couple of items. And thankfully, one of them at least is going to be completed here for Viper, like we were talking about. So Shiv, completed there, does have his Berserker's Greaves as well. And Bull goes back, and he's still ahead. Although, I guess, as far as money's worth is concerned, completed Berserker's somewhat equivalent to that of a pickaxe.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken is like 300 gold more than the Shiv. Obviously, Shiv a pretty big spike. And I think Hotline Life Esports, I think they made the right decision, because I think losing the dragon isn't that big of a deal. Losing the dragon on a fight definitely is. So they're just happy to lean in the late stages of the game. It is a Mountain Soul, though. I think Quantum Freak's definitely high-rolling this one, especially into a Corki, and with a tank top and jungle, going to be very happy with those extra resists, but also the shielding to block some of that poke from the Corki.
Yeah, that is value. Completely absurd, actually, as Viper this time going to get knocked up by Quantum, as Viper is going to zap him, and Delight was there, at least playing backup. 7 CS is going to be the advantage here for Viper at the moment. And I think that we might see that increase, given the ease of farming that Viper will have with this static Shiv. Can lead lane, especially once he moves towards the mid lane as well. So the Zeri position in the game going to move closer and closer to a much happier place for Harmon Life Esports as this game goes on. Dudu completes his Sunfire Cape. This has been the build. You can sometimes sneak in a Stride Breaker or something like that for a little bit of damage, but otherwise it's basically just full tank. Yeah,
basically full tank. I've seen people mix in like some bruiser items. Sterex can be quite popular later on, especially just for the AD on it, but generally speaking, it's like an early tank start, and you just kind of become immovable in lane. And again,
nowhere near as fun as the builds in solo queue, though. They are way more fun with Eclipse and the Lance thingy, the Sundered Sky.
Those ones are a bit more wacky.
Yeah, it just feels more fun.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of setup coming towards this Herald now. Quantum Freak's trying to get control of the Banana Brush. What's interesting to me is that Hotline Life Esports didn't opt to even use the package for anything else. They kind of just sat on it. So...
Well, there is Heba Pulverize. It's going to work out better than the Grand Entrance. Peanut was moving in as Rift Herald started up here. Of course, Hotline Life Esports, we know, are big fans of the Rift Herald. They are going to go back to it right now. See whether Quantum Freaks are able to fight this. As you can see, Zeka moving up towards that top side of the map now. And this could be our first fight of the game. There is a Glacial Prison. It's going to connect. You can see the Pulverize. Fantastic disengage here from Delight, who doesn't even have to press his ultimate button, and now Zeka getting in amongst it. This is dangerous positioning, though, as he Valkyries, and that's going to avoid everything. What? That was the highest value Valkyrie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, just dodges away, manages to disengage. A lot of ults burn from the side of Quantum Freaks. I still think they're in a strong spot to contest this.
Yeah, Cuz diving on in. There is the Nature's Grasp now as Ball Killer Instinct. They dive on top of the jungler, and now it is Viper's turn to press his ultimate button. Emperor's Divide is going to land on both of the tankier members, and now Viper is still trying to do damage, but his front line is dead. The double knockup from the newly improved Rek'Sai is going to lock up the kill onto the cow, and Viper sees these low health bars, but they haven't been able to get any kills. Is it now going to be the time? And the answer, I think, is no. Viper at full health, but he still needs to walk away.
They're just not at the point where they can carry right now. You know, Viper sitting on one item. Zeka, he hasn't even got a fully stacked mana immune. It feels like he's not even on a full item himself. Just didn't have the damage in the target selection. The peel back from Condor Freaks was so good there. Dudu having an absolute monster fight as well. And the thing is, I think Hard Life Esports, the initial engagement, they played so well. But the follow-up fight, I think they had too much confidence. They're like, ults down from Condor Freaks, we can take this. But the power just really wasn't there.
Yeah. Dudu really making great use of this Rek'Sai as well.
And it's just heavy commit on a Peanut when the team are split. And you know, Peanut wants to try and disengage people off his backline, but he just gets focused down. The ult from Bulldog is fantastic to disengage. And then seeing a bit more of that value, you know, it's a tank Rek'Sai, very durable, gets the double knockup as well. And sure, they didn't even do anything to Viper. They just didn't need to.
No. And they're able to soak it up as, of course, Dudu very happy to tank for as long as they would like. Now goes back, gets himself another Giant's Belt. And there is Null Magic Mantle as well. Obviously moving towards a Spirit Visage as soon as possible. Feels like it's got a fair bit of synergy with that of Rek'Sai's kit.
That's a big bump in terms of gold. And Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. You actually, despite the fact that we just had a massive fight, not many summoners were really burned. You know, Delight doesn't have his flash, Dude doesn't have his, everyone else has flashes. So still a lot of summoners available, and the package still an option for Zeki. You can see him recalling for it now.
Yeah.
Giving over third Dragon to Condor Freaks would be pretty devastating for Hard Life Esports. So I expect we will see them try and set up for this.
Rift Herald's
placed, yeah, this is a pretty nice setup for Condor Freaks.
Yeah, you can see now Dudu is going to drive Shelly into the turret. Wow, that's nice drifting, but I don't know whether he's going to be all that okay. Grand Entrance going to stop Peanut here. A little bit of an early fight. Rift Herald still going to continue doing a fair bit of work, but Zeka with the package is very scary. Extendo Beam connects onto Quantum here as well, and Hard Life Esports wrestles some control of this river. Looks like they will be able to start off this Drake as well. Quantum Freaks probably not going to give this one up without a fight. Bulldog does have the Emperor's Divide and Flash both available. They are stacked up. Sand Soldiers in position. Headbutt pulverized onto Bulldog, and the Glacial Prison goes wide. Dudu trying to get into this pit alongside Cuz. They lock down the Dragon, but these knockups are massive. Emperor's Divide onto everyone but Doran. He slips by, and that is going to be the pickup. The trade is for a Corki for Rakan, and that's going to be Dudu going down as well. What the heck? Never mind, it's not Dudu going down. Doran died, but Dudu, it's impossible to kill this Rek'Sai, I guess.
Look how much damage Viper did, and it just didn't matter. I mean, even he looks so tanky with how big his health bar is, but just the healing that constantly comes in, he's just so hard to kill. And honestly, the fact that Hard Life Esports managed to get the Dragon is touch and go a little bit there. Things could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
They are definitely not good right now.
This is, yeah, I'm starting to believe in the power of this Rek'Sai top lane. That is going to be mid, outer turret taken down as well. Quantum Freaks fans just screaming for every single objective take here today. They are certainly ready for this upset to come through.
You know, I think when the game started, they were kind of cheering a lot because they're like, you know, we may not get that many kills. You got to cheer for everyone, every single one now. Their voice is going to be dead by the end of this game.
Oh, absolutely.
At this rate.
And they've committed. They've hard committed to getting super psyched about everything that's happened. And if this is going to be a victory for Quantum Freaks, then they will certainly be lacking in some voices. This was a massive bouncy castle, and it looked like it went perfectly for the Quantum Freaks. But Doran Umbral dashing to the side and not getting caught, I think actually really helped out Humble Life Esports here, because it meant that this follow-up onto the less healthy members was not made by anyone other than Dudu.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think there was a big difference maker. That immediate impact of the ults, it could have been devastating. But yeah, I mean, look at the damage taken from this Rek'Sai. He could just soak up the damage from the Zeri for such a long time. And you can even see Viper's gone for LGR. He also actually went cut down in his... Oh, wait a second. No, he's out. He also went cut down in his runes because he knew...
All right, there's a quickness. It's not actually going to land onto Zeka, though. Peanut just able to boost on past.
You know, credit to both Delight and Peanut for doing a great job of interrupting the Rakan so far.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just so stupid. And you know, as I was saying, Viper's gone LDR second, and he went cut down. Like, he knew he was going to have to cut through these tanks. And Zeri isn't the best tank shredder. You can see how much he's struggling to cut through this Rek'Sai. Fully itemized into this armor as well, because realistically, the AP threat in the enemy team is a poke champion. And against Rek'Sai,
yeah, who cares?
he burrows on the ground. Oh, I'm full HP. Burrows on the ground and full HP.
Let's have a look at it again. Yeah, burrows underground. Hey, and full HP.
Yeah, it's just the fact you see like one tick of the heal.
Yeah.
Like 200 health. It's very... And he's going for Spirit Visage for third most likely. Very, very...
So you're saying it gets worse?
It gets so much worse. You know, it's not going to get better. I think that at least later on, the carries from Honor Life Esports will hopefully be able to cut through him a bit better. But he definitely feels immortal right now. And this is without picking up a Mountain Dragon. Like, the saving grace this game for Honor Life Esports is that they got that dragon. Otherwise, it really would have been in an awful spot.
Well, who can build a Morellonomicon or a Mortal Reminder or something like that? Like, when are we getting one of those items for Honor Life Esports? I think they might need one. Because even in extended fights, it feels like Dudu is able to get so much done, just burrowing in and out and still keeping himself healthy. So, Life gonna walk on over here as the Baron has been started. Good knock-up onto Peanut, but a Glacial Prism once again does go wide. There's the Pulverized Flash, and Quantum is just gonna get eviscerated. There is a nice ulti connecting that snare onto Bulldog, but it's not enough. He finds 3 with the Emperor's Divide. Still, Viper is offering damage back, and now it's Doran's turn to try and be immortal in that front line. Humble Life Esports finding themselves a victory, and Viper wants even more. Bull being chased down. Extendo Beam gets the flash. That is a lot of value here.
And you feel like the terrain worked a little bit against Bulldog because he went for the shuffle. It didn't catch as many people as he wanted. I think Doran got like hit against the wall.
Yeah, he got hit by it, but then sort of nothing happened.
Yeah, you know, very ambitious play. It kind of backfired. I feel like what was working for Quantum Freaks was great single target selection. You know, pick a target, kill a target. And Bulldog just got a little bit too aggressive there. Ends up sacrificing himself to not that much gain.
Yeah, well... Now you've got Cuz making his way back towards that Baron once again. Still slight advantage here for Kwangdong Freeds as Cuz doesn't have his ultimate back up and available again, as of course he did recently throw that one to Narnia. And still in control, still with an avenue to victory, but I think as soon as Humble Life Esports took that Drake, they have felt so much better about the state of this game. And BF Sword now completed as well for Viper. Yeah, we'll see when that third item comes in. That is when he is going to be absolutely terrifying. Okay. Package is secured.
Yeah, Zeka recalled, got Package and Malignant. So a pretty big spike here. But there's a lot of people to tank up the Rocket, so definitely a harder game for Corki.
Yeah. Quantum Freaks do back away from the Drake, though, as Delight in that front line. Getting into position. There's a Pulverize onto 2. Extendo Beam. Bit of damage onto Cuz, and now Bulldog wrapping around Delight in so much trouble here as another Glacial Prison is going to come down. This time connecting onto Zeka, but there's no follow-up. Delight going to need to back away from this one. That is so much of their engaged potential now taken down.
Oh, they get
Package will be, delivered to the mid lane, and so therefore, no opportunity here as Dudu just very happy to walk on top of that. Package damage. That is Soul Point now picked up for Kwangdong Freaks. All of a sudden, tempo moves back in their favor.
Yeah, and Delight goes for the play. You can see that one of the game plans for the side of Honor Life Esports has been target Quantum. He's squishy, easy to blow up, but it just didn't quite work there. No one was in position to follow up, and Quantum Freaks really just turned it around. Setting up now, Dudu trying to find an angle here.
Yeah, Quantum as well on a deep flank. Bull has taken a lot of random damage from the Baron, as has Bulldog. And Bulldog, if he keeps getting hit by these, it's really dangerous. Nature's Grasp does come down. They're looking to target Delight once again. It's a big Pulverize, though, as now right back over the wall goes Dudu, and he's taken out. Oh, what the heck? Okay, well, he is going to fall now as the Void Rush did come through, and it's a double kill for Zeka. Humble Life Esports just so much more control in these team fights, and there's the Valkyrie on top of Bull. No Killer Instinct is going to be enough to get you out of that one, and there is a pentakill on the table here for Zeka if they can corral Cuz and Bulldog underneath this outer turret, and I think they might look for it, even though he's exceedingly low. Nope, probably just going to be a full house. Zeka's full of Vipers, unless he can get the 4 of a kind. Zeka comes on over, but no, there's that full house that we're talking about. That is going to be the clean ace for Humble Life Esports, and they can head towards this Baron.
Yeah, and I think this is Humble Life Esports just making the correct decisions. There's 2 Dragon Fights this game that they've turned out. He's okay. 2 Dragon Fights this game they've opted out of because it didn't feel right, and they end up committing to this Baron fight. The setup was there, and more importantly, the itemization had come through. You know, the LDR for Viper, he actually can now shred Dudu. It felt like in the mid-game he was just completely immortal, but suddenly he's actually able to cut through the opposing team. This is the replay we're looking at. So Dudu gets completely focused down, and the thing is he doesn't get a chance to heal with. He's above ground the whole time, the passive doesn't do anything, and I believe there's an Ignite on him as well that just reduced it. So ultimately, really nice setup there from Humble Life Esports, targeting the Rek'Sai on their backline, and then here is just cleanup.
Yeah, and I think as soon as you saw Dudu go back over the wall, they could have had a potential man advantage, but there just wasn't anyone on Quantum Freaks that was ready for him to be in that position, and so they kind of lost their mega tank for almost nothing.
Yeah, and here, make the decision to kill off the 2 remaining members. No chance of a steal coming through, and now Humble Life Esports have that gold lead. It is a potential for Soul in 2 minutes for Quantum Freaks, but this is the time for Humble Life Esports to really start picking up some structures. They're yet to take a tower.
Yeah. And this mid-outer is looking to be there first, although the wave clear is quite large. Seems like they don't have too much trouble there. So, first one is going to be this top outer that Doran will be able to secure.
Yeah.
Does have some Void Mites there as well. Not a lot of Void Mite value so far this game with 0 turrets taken, so finally, Doran going to put those Mites to work.
Yeah, and I do want to mention just Viper's also got the IE. We see a lot of Nabori on the Zeri. This is full damage output. This is, I want to cut through these tanks as much as possible. Remember, 5% more armor pen on the LDR. He's going to shred.
Yeah, Nature's Grasp is going to come on through, tanked up here by Cuz. As Bull and Bulldog will be all right for the moment. Glacial Prison connects onto Delight, but he just straight up doesn't care. Didn't even want to press the ultimate button, as now Quantum looks for that backline. Massive knockouts come through as well. The flank angle is gorgeous. They've taken down the Zeri, but is that going to be enough? Because Zeka is still basically at full health, and they're being torn to shreds. It didn't matter. They got their target, and there's still a Corki.
Looked like the setup was so good, they managed to kill Viper, but so much is lost in return. The turnaround damage from Doran, the turnaround damage from Zeka decimates Quantum Freaks. Yes, they got Viper, but they paid heavily. And now I think it might just be an end angle. Only Quantum up for 20 seconds. I don't think he can do anything.
Not sure about it. Zeka is very, very strong. They do a lot of structural damage, but maybe they are going to back off after this one. Just look to get a secure on this dragon, because if there is a way that Quantum Freaks do stop them from killing the Nexus, then they get Mountain Soul, and then things become difficult, perhaps.
Not feeling the need to overstep, the scaling really coming in the composition. And we've watched the replay here, so they commit heavily onto Viper here. Managed to go in for him, but it's a great knockup from Delight to stall out the Azir, and then look at the AoE damage in return. Bull ends up danger close, Quantum is super squishy, the team just got honestly annihilated.
I think if Viper wasn't able to press his R button just before he died, then maybe there's a bit of a chance. It looked like that explosion of damage was just gigantic, but still, Doran just being in melee range with everyone. It seems like even though Dudu does seem really, really, really tanky, lethality Aatrox, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, and he also went the Serelda second, so go in for that percentage pen. They are shredding to the tanks, and now look at Zeka. 4 items completed, got the Void Staff, got level 16 and package. God. He's fully online.
Yep, and he's landing a lot of the poke. This is probably one of his best games on Corki we've seen all season. Zeka standing up when it matters most. It's been something that he's known to do. If you guys can remember back a couple of years. As Quantum Freaks, yeah, they know that this is gone. So just a Drake number 2 for Humble Life Esports. Not worth Quantum Freaks losing the game completely over. And the game is in pretty dire straits. This composition from Humble Life only continues to improve with age.
Yep. And even this Rek'Sai, ow. That's starting to hit. That wasn't even the big one. That would have been, ooh.
Yeah. Went back to old Zeka for a moment there.
Yeah.
But still, we've got we used to talk about this, but I'm going to have to hold that thought because Nature's Grasp has come over the side. Not exactly a lot of follow-up for it, though. Sand Soldiers do come out. But we used to see this back when Zeri was first released, when she was a poke champion, if you remember. The Corki Zeri combos where Extendo Beam and Rockets just meant that no team was allowed to play the game. Got a little bit of a a glimpse at what that would have been like, as Viper is very, very strong at this point in time as well.
Yeah, he's been sitting on this tier. I think he can probably just back. You know, I know we talked about the epic items, and it's like, you know, sitting on components.
So now Viper just goes back to buy completed items.
Yeah, none of those components. They're just. I actually think he might have like a full item here. No, he goes for QSS. I felt like he'd been sitting on the IE for a while, but I guess he wasn't the one picking up all the kills. But regardless, the damage being output by these carries, we can see Bull just hasn't been able to find headway in these fights. You know, he's obviously trying to dive in and hit the key targets, but he struggled to cut through the rest of Honor Life Esports.
And he also has built purely based on hit, right?
Yeah.
It's not anything about like the hybrid builds that we have seen. You mentioned exactly why that would be the case, but it means he has to get up close and personal to do any damage at all. And this composition from Honor Life Esports doesn't really let you go up and close and personal unless they want you to, and that's exactly what Delight's going to do now. As Zeri dashes over the wall, I just feel like Viper gave himself up for that one. Quantum is going to emote, but then he's immediately going to go down. A trade of 80 carries is now Doran. He's looking to get in amongst it. Bulldog Empress divides the air, and that is going to spell the end of this team fight. It is enough to put up a wall and stop Honor Life Esports from getting past. But once again, it is let's target Viper, and then we don't have a plan.
And you know, I can't discredit Quantum Freaks. The attempts on a Viper have been really good. That was a super great read from Quantum, catching him over the wall with the ult. But it's just not enough. You know, you take out Viper, and Honor Life Esports are so good at turning it around. Speaking of turning it around, Dudu, I think you just kill him.
Pulls in, yeah. Well, Delight is now going to go on a bit of a walkabout. Does have flash, and Dudu just going to give up on it.
Yes. Zeka
was in the area, yeah.
I think that's valid.
Yeah.
I think that's a valid thing to be scared of.
He does have Spirit Visage, but that is all the amount of magic resist that he has. And I don't think that, you know, Zeka and his Void Staff care that much about it.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but Honor Life Esports have 2 Abyssal Masks.
Oh, man.
They really wanted Zeka to do the most damage possible. I think 2 is a little bit overkill. They don't stack. But obviously in some situations, 2 people at different points in the fight, so you're spreading it out more. But regardless,
maybe they could all build one. It's like the Masquerade Ball composition as Delight. Just not quite able to get over that wall. You know, a little bit of a short hop there on that one.
I played a fair bit of Alistair. It's definitely
Oh dear. On a merry jaunt is Peanut, and he is very far away after that Emperor's Divide. The rest of Honor Life Esports wanting to commit to this one. The Pulverize is massive as Dudu trying to get into that backline, but now Viper, he has everyone behind him. The bottom lane has been torn apart once again, and Cuz is running the wrong direction, doesn't have any teammates, and somehow that massive ride that Peanut just went on was absolutely the right thing to do. Yeah,
a little bit of an oopsie there from Delight, but Peanut's there with a follow-up. They start the fight, and it kind of just feels like at this point, the context of the fight doesn't really matter. Just the fact there's a fight means Honor Life Esports are winning it, and this is a replay of the earlier fight. Honestly, I think Quantum played this really well to pick out the Zeri, but it just ends up not being enough. So you see, Full goes in, dashes over, instantly grabs.
Dudu taking a lot of damage here, and he's just going to get rocketed to the back of the head.
Yeah, you know, it's not a new experience seeing Rek'Sai fall off. That was kind of always the case, but definitely a reminder that this champion doesn't hold up as well in the later stages of the game.
No, not so much, especially in the context of these compositions where Honor Life have a Zeri and a Corki, and then a whole lot of frontline to throw, like the tank lethality Aatrox that we talk about is included in that frontline conversation. Yeah. And now these minions are knocking on the front door of Quantum Freaks, and the Nature's Grasp coming out once again. As Bulldog does stand behind Cuz, but that is going to create enough space to take down these Nexus turrets, and my god, Quantum is burning, gets to the fountain and is going to at least survive, but his Nexus turret's not going to be so lucky. The Nexus is now exposed. Some lower health bars here on Honor Life, but they will just take themselves this inhibitor and look to back away. Another dragon, I believe, has their name on it.
Yeah, and I think you can tell that Honor Life Esports are all business today. It is playoffs. They are not messing around. It is not double limb. They are taking it seriously. They back up. They don't go for the end there with the open Nexus. So, like, we don't need to. We can back up. We can take the dragon.
And I also think, like,
gold.
After the early game as well, you can understand exactly why they're doing this. I think that Quantum Freaks played fantastically well.
A lot of respect.
Yeah. And I think that it is well deserved, even though the gold lead is now 11,000. Freaks now stacked up to 3 apiece. And Zeka just delivers a package to the big Raptor. Look at that. That was very satisfying. And we'll check out this fight one more time. This was Peanut's Wild Ride.
Yeah, you know, we saw the light miss the combo. I was trying to say before, it happens when like you go for a play and they move out of range just before you headbutt, you end up just slamming the ground.
Yeah.
Being it commits heavily, it looks like it's going to maybe be a misplay, but I just think the Rakan, we're kind of seeing the issue with the pick. Like, Quantum just gets one shot all the time in these fights, and even Dudu, who's like built pretty much full tank, just isn't enough to stand up to how much damage is coming out of this Corki right now. It's a full build Corki.
Oh my goodness.
We don't often see the Corki get to this stage because normally it's kind of 1 on 3 or 4 items. The damage here is just going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it was already ridiculous, and now it is. We're going to need more adjectives. As now, there's Pulverize on to Cuz. Pretty tanky though, especially with that Frost Armor. Yep, ridiculous. Very true. Emperor's Divide just to get rid of Peanut. Viper says that's his opportunity to just go in. Both of these carries just tearing holes in Kwangdong Freaks with every single ability. And this Nexus is not going to be long for the world. They'll grab a couple of kills on their way out, but Humble Life, it was difficult in the early game, but they managed to make it happen in the end.